Hello, ladies and gentlemen. GreatTaz here once again with another replay from the world of tanks. And in this replay, we will be watching myself play the just buffed IS-6, a Tier 8 Russian preferential matchmaking premium. Now, Wargaming went through and buffed all the preferential matchmaking premium tanks. And I've played all the ones I have. I don't own two, I've noticed, and that would be the Type 59 is one, which it is the most difficult to get a hold of. I forgot to do this, so while we're playing around. Woo! Look at that! T26E5. Clip, clip, boom. Alright. So, in the long run, as I was saying, that Wargaming recently buffed all the preferential matchmaking tanks. And I am missing two of them, and the Type 59 is one that I know of for sure. What the other one is, I'm not quite sure off the top of my head without looking it up. But we're going to sit here and we're going to watch me play the IS-6. And as you can see, this is on Ensk, and I have taken a spot up in the city where I have a narrow firing line, and the enemy also has a narrow firing line. And as you can see, I've been shot twice, and I've blocked both shots. So I'm doing really good there, and I've fired 5 shots, critical hit once, and completely bounced once. So I am, not doing as well as I would like, but I still haven't used gold rounds yet. And that's one of the things that they buffed on the IS-6. Was the standard rounds and gold round pen. Now, they were trying to bring them up equal to tier 8s, but not being able to compete very overly well with 9s and then yet 10s. And as most tier 8s can't even compete with 10s, which, you know, it's all their 2 up, 2 down scenario. And it makes things really difficult in the long run. But, as you can see here, we are doing pretty well in a Tier 9 battle. We're hitting pretty much all of our shots. Not penning all of our shots, and some just doing straight out tracking damage. There we got some track damage, and we're going to finally take out the Cent 7-1. Alright, as you can if you notice up top on the little tiers, we're winning 6-1, and that's because, well, I'm not going to say I have a lot to do that, but I do have a little bit to do with it. I have spread my damage around nicely between 3 tanks, and they're really the only 3 tanks that I've seen. And I know that by the minimap, there's a 704 around this corner, and if I stick my haste out, a 704 is going to take it off. I mean, that has 152 millimeter powerhouse cannon, even the stock one, and I'm just taking it to my tier 8 counterparts, the T26E5s, I call the Patriot the Patriot basic, just meaning basic by the skin, because they're both the same tank, just one has a special paint scheme on it, and that's really the only difference. They're identical tanks. And the Centurion 1, which is, if you look in the lower left-hand corner here, there's not a shot that penned me. And I don't really remember reading anything about them buffing the armor, but they may have. Oh, look, 704. We'll take that shot, and we'll take him out. Because he just fired, and that was to our advantage, and so that's what we did. We took him out. All right, the 112 finally takes out the Scorpion. The plain Patriot decides he's going to peek out and does nothing. Here's the Patriot, the painted Patriot. Alright, we're going to bounce off his hull armor. He's going to hit us. Alright, you want to play this game? We'll play face hugging. And I bet you I win, because I got allies, buddy. You don't. Alright, so, ladies and gentlemen, that would be the battle. In under 5 minutes. And that's the way the battles have seemed to have really gone. And I only took 1 damaging shot, and I only took 197 damage total. 5 of it by being rammed by the Painted Patriot. Alright, so why don't we just go ahead and take a slow meander on over to check out our results. We're going to run over to Watt Records. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, it was in the battle. We got the first class battle. We got Shellproof. We got Duelist. We got Fire for Effect. And then we got Bruiser. We didn't get any special medals this time, because overall it was a little above average game. But it shows that the IS-6 has returned to close to what it was before they started putting out tanks like the Patriot and the Defender and the Libertarian and all these tier 8 premium tanks that can sit here and stand up against 9s, and some of them stand up against 10s. And you got to remember, the preferential matchmaking tanks were originally tier 7.5. They weren't a tier 8, and they weren't a tier 7. The way they were put into the game is they were supposed to be weaker than the tree version. Basically, almost like a stock version of a tank in the tree. And that's the way they were. Some of them had nerfs. The Type 59 and the Mutant both got nerfed in through their time. And then the Mutant got some minor buffs back. And so did the Type 59, but it never put them back to where they were. Now, if you search up Quickie Baby on YouTube, he just posted the Type 59 is back video. And as he states, did these tanks really need the buff? Honestly, I think if they could have fixed the matchmaker to make it where these preferential matchmaking tanks seemed a all 8 or a 5-3 or a 357 where they're our top tank, then they would have been right where they should have been. Basically, if you think about it, these preferential matchmaking tanks are literally your tier 1, 2, and 3s, but at tier 8s and 7 and 8s, because your E25 is a tier 7, and it has preferential matchmaking. So does the M10 Panther. Both have preferential matchmaking, but they're at tier 7. So they're weighted at basically tier 6.5 tanks. They will see 8s, but they should primarily see 7s, 6s, and 5s. Now, again, like you said, you think of these a lot like your tier 1, 2, and 3s. They don't see 2-ups. So that's basically the overall gist. And they were really good that way before the 357 matchmaking came out, and the 357 matchmaking literally destroyed the preferential matchmaking purpose, because you were seeing 90% of your battles at tier 9s. And the tanks weren't really designed to go up against a lot of tier 9s. So, lo and behold, Wargaming's answer was initially buff them to tier 8 equality of what they were and take away the preferential status. Trust me, I was one of them. I may not have been verbally or wrote it down, but a lot of preferential matchmaking tank owners complained. Do not do this. We don't like it. And for once in your life, maybe second time in your life, actually listen to us. We love the fact that these tanks don't see 2-up. We love these tanks because the simple fact, we don't have to fight tier 10s. We don't have to fight E100s, Mouses, Type 5s, 215Bs, 183s, and Super Conks, and E4s and T110 E4s and E5s, tanks that we're no way with our pen we can penetrate or even take a hit from. So, and that's what the tanks are really based around. Never to see that, and they were set up for half a tier below what their actually tier is. So, well, let's air them off on a little stinking rant. Anyways, back to the stats. But the IS-6 is doing well. All the preferential matchmaking tanks are actually doing better since the buff, considering they do now see a lot of 5.9s. All right. And as you can see here, we did pretty well overall. We were second in damage, right below our tier 9 Bat Chat. We had the most, tied for the most kills, and we had the most base experience. So overall, we did really well. And the reason we got the highest base experience is because we did end up taking out the Cent 7-1, which did 0 damage. We took out the T-26E5 and the Patriot, and the Object 704. So we took out 2 tier 9s and a tier 8. So that's how we got the overabundance of credit experience here. And as I said in a moment ago, and the overabundance of credits. And this is without a booster. 13 shots fired, 13 hits, so that's 100% hit ratio, and then which is really good for an IS-6. It can now do what it did before. It can actually brawl now, which was nice. And only 8 of them penetrated. It still shows that the penetration isn't of those tier 8 standard, tier 8 basic tanks, but it's still much better than what it was. I mean, it used to have only 175 pen on the basic. Now it has like 189, which kind of needed. And you can see we blocked 2,000 damage, which I'm still not sure why we didn't end up with steel wall. How many hits did we take? Oh, that's because we only received 10 hits. If we would have received one more hit, we would have received it. But anyways, and the cheap repair and the cheap ammo also help. So this was overall a good game to see that the IS-6 and the preferential matchmaking tanks are actually going to be able to compete a little bit better with their tier 8 brethren. Now we're hoping that, they actually tweak the matchmaking system a little bit so that maybe the preferential matchmaking tanks don't see tier 9s the majority of their matches. So we see 8s, and 8s where we're either solid 8 or top 8s and 7s, or 8 7s and 6s. But we'll see. We'll see what Wargaming does in the future. They've not really released anything but official, but what has been read and seen is that basically what they're trying to do is they're attempting to make the matchmaker see the preferential matchmaking tanks and put them in the tier 8 battles more than putting in them tier 9 battles, which that would be grand. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you did not and feel it deserves it, please give it a thumbs down. If you have a comment, please comment. I will respond as soon as I possibly can. I have responded pretty much to the majority of my comments, and or liked or given love because of the comment. And if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and click the little subscription button down here just below where my arrow is, and or right here in the center in a moment, or maybe it's right now, there would be my avatar. Go ahead and click it to subscribe. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, this is GreatTaz signing off. I hope everyone is having a great week, as this video is uploaded on Wednesday as my midweek battles. And we will see you again on Saturday and Sunday with more replays. This Saturday we'll possibly have another game review, but I'm not sure if I will have time to get to it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, GreatTaz signing off. You have a wonderful, wonderful week.